who we missing? Oh, well, we knew Mike wasn't gonna be here. He's on a trip or something. Didn't he say that last month?
Yep. I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's time to roll.
Time to roll. Good morning. Good morning. Quiet in here today.
It is.
All right. Call to order the Board of Public Works, City of Washington, Tuesday, June 12th. We could have roll call, please.
John Beatmeyer,
Here.
Mike Ratatek, Brad Mitchell,
Here.
Steve Richardson,
Here.
Steve Struberg,
Here.
Jeff Mohesky, Steve Solentrup, and Jeff Patkey.
Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, like they say, play ball. Thank you all for joining us. If you have had a chance to look over the minutes, if there are no changes, corrections, additions, we'll take a
I have
motion.
a question.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there one of those things with the truck, Brad, that you had not agreed with? Because it said down here, with the use monitor on it, it said everybody agreed. Was
Yes.
there one that you?
Yeah,
did.
yes, Brad
Was
did.
a no on that.
Yes, Brad was a no on that. So we'll make a change on that.
You got that change?
That was on the trucks.
Yes.
Other than that, I'll make a motion to accept.
A motion to accept. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Minutes approved. Moving right into wastewater. Nothing on the agenda, but I'm sure we'll get a report from Kevin.
Yes, you will. It didn't go on the agenda, but I just want to let you know, the plant's doing fine. Yesterday, we did have a faulty fire alarm call. Apparently, we have some pull boxes. That's the little handles where you can go pulling, kids just doing these in school. Anyway, they're failing and they're setting off without being pulled. So we got Tech Electronics is out trying to figure out what's going on. So we did bring the fire department down here yesterday afternoon. But anyway, they're working on that. The other thing is, a while back, well, it was actually last year, and then working into this year, we installed what we call launder covers down at the treatment plant on the clarifiers. We went through proposal and bids and got all that, and you guys approved it. I just wanted to let you know that since we've had them installed for this is the first summer so far starting out, by now we would have had to clean out the clarifier weirs, which is the channel that runs around it that these covers cover. We would have had to clean them out 5 times already. We haven't had to clean them out once. And that was the goal, was to put them under so you don't have as much algae growing. Our effluent, the algae would transition down to our UV lights, and we was cleaning them constantly. They pulled them last week to see if they had any algae growth on them. No algae growth on them. So the launder covers that we installed are doing what they're supposed to do.
That's good.
And which helps on maintenance, and it is also a safety, issue too. They don't have to be in there walking on the inside of that clarifier. So that's working good. Worked out well. So
Good to hear. Anything else on wastewater? Anybody? No? Water, we got a couple bills to pay.
Yes, the first one is a Donahue invoice. This is not the final for the project, but it's bringing it almost complete. I think Al will have to come out one more time to do a walkthrough after the landscape company gets done with the yard, which they started on yesterday. So what we have here is we have a request for payment for the inspection company that came in and did the inspections on the company, and then some time for Al when he was here and did a little bit of work too. So
move.
So
Second.
moved and seconded. All in favor to pay the bill for $15,817.06 to Donahue? Aye.
Aye.
Bill passed. And that leaves a small balance,
Yes, of 300.
$310. I was waiting for the big one to come in on that.
Haven't seen that yet. Haven't seen that yet, so
No.
I'm sure it'll be here next month probably, but haven't seen that one yet.
Now, the next bill, apparently, I read through that thing 3 times. That's the truck that can't be fixed, but it sure cost us a lot to find out it can't be fixed. Right?
Well, it was the truck that went to Modern Auto at first because the turbo had blown up in it, and Modern Auto couldn't fix it, so we had to take it down to Rush. So in the meantime, I asked for a quote from Rush, and they told me from what they had heard and seen on the report that it was going to take up almost a whole new engine, a long block, and a whole bunch of other things. It was going to possibly cost $20,000. That's what I reported to you guys, and that was the original verbal quote.
Right.
Once they got it down there and actually got looking at it, the lower part of the engine, which is the long block, was not damaged. They only had to replace some parts, blower, or the turbo, oil pump, and things like that. So that's why it's instead of $20,000, it's only $7,000.
So we salvaged the truck.
Yes, we salvaged it.
Okay, because
Yeah.
I knew it was in the repair shop, and I thought, oh, boy, that hurt.
I move we accept before they change their mind.
I think we should too.
But anyway, so
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Oh, well, that's good news.
yeah, it turned out it was a hard decision to make. But when you look at a new dump truck costing you $200,000 compared to even the $20,000 would have been a decent price to pay to keep it. It's in good shape. But anyway, so
That's good.
that is behind us.
That was good news.
Yes, that was
Okay.
good news.
All right. And then the 353 closed on a piece of property that we had money in, and I'm not sure if I understand where that money came from or went to, but explain that.
Okay, it was the sale of the 41 acres on the south side of 100.
Right?
So our balance was paid off. It is, I checked yesterday, and it is supposedly in the right account. So it came back to the water department. So the 353 Corporation has paid off their debt to the water department.
Okay.
So that one that's been lingering on
That's the
for,
one we've been tracking and had the
Tracking, keeping
interest
track
and
of,
this
and
that,
yes,
but it's-
yes.
So it was just paid debt. It wasn't, there's no new income to us on that, is there?
no, it just paid debt, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So that's an informational item.
Just to let everybody know that
But it
issue has,
puts 220,000 back in the water
back in
account.
the, yes. So we do have an additional,
John? It's paid debt back to you. So they had a debt to you all. So it is dollars back into your account, just so we get that straight. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's money back.
yeah, it's
That's
money back,
You
money back
loaned
to us,
Money
yes.
back in the,
Yeah, the water fund loan,
Back to the water
353, X amount of dollars
Yeah,
to
which
do
was
some infrastructure improvements. So you were actually negative on that.
money we
And they
technically
paid back to you.
how is that going to affect our budget, or was that separate? I would imagine it was separate from our annual,
Yeah, but I don't think there was any kind of like foresight on when that was going to get paid back. So I would say
No,
this
it
is
was,
a very
it was
much
an
a
open-ended, it
positive.
was an open-ended debt. It was always, when a lot sold, we got a little bit of money. When a lot sold, we got a little bit of money.
right?
So finally, when the big lot sold, I think they had to pay us off first. And
Correct.
then it went to the stormwater fund, I think.
Correct.
So it was divvied out at that point, so.
So somehow this will be in a reserve account.
Yes.
America.
Correct.
It's been moved into reserves, yes.
Yeah.
So your balance would go up from what it was. Perfect. Just want to get that clear. Okay.
Money in the bank. Thank you. Any other on water?
Just old business.
Just old business. I had a question on, I put it under other, because we look at we get the budget every month. And after the number of years I've been on the board, I'm finally starting to see how to read this thing, but we're doing okay, it looks like.
Yeah, right now, we're doing okay. Looking at the budget, we haven't seen the big hit for the water tower yet.
Right.
So once that hits, in 2 months, we'll see that on the budget. That's gonna probably change things a little bit. But as of right now, we're doing all right.
But
Probably where that
was a
200 and
that was
some
a
odd dollars
budgeted
is.
item, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yes. So it's in the budget, it's just we haven't
Yeah.
it hasn't hit the expenses yet.
Right.
Which when you see that, then you'll notice a difference. But we're doing all right. I mean, not saying that Yeah, we're doing all right.
Because
for
we're
another-
probably, what, we're halfway through the fiscal year, around,
Yep,
with May?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yep, 2/3, yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, we're running tight. We've ran tight for the last 3 years, but we're keeping our head above water for right now.
And, the reason I bring that up with the budget is that we're aware of where we're at with the money coming in and paying the bills to make sure of our revenue stream, because we talk about that from time to time, from year to year. And, there may be some time when we want to analyze that a little bit more and see. And I guess, it falls in line with this debt that was paid off and the discussion of a new water tower, and all those things kind of come together.
Correct, yeah, and as you're aware, I mean, we secured, I forget the dollar number with capital improvement sales tax, but we got a sum of money, and I believe it was 500,000, but I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but we did secure some money from that source of revenue for a new water tower.
Right.
But moving forward, I know Kevin, myself, and Darren, and I'm sure John, we're all going to get together. The idea was later this fall, early winter, to sit down and try to identify future needs.
Right.
Kevin hit it right on. We're doing well now, but 3-5 years out in the future, we need to kind of look at where we're at with water rates, things of that nature. Now, we've not done any really analysis of it right this second, just because it's not been top priority with all of us right now. But for the time being, we're doing well, and then we're going to be looking into that this fall and this winter. And that's been the schedule for going on a year now when we identified this.
And the water study's not all that old. I happened to see that in the midst
No.
of
No,
undoing and redoing my file cabinets, but I looked at them. And that's really, I think that was one of the things, like, we need to talk about that. But then we're talking about the growth in the city, the new residential.
At the location of southeast part of town.
and that is the biggest, I don't want to say the biggest demand, but to me, that's the biggest concern is the east side of town, because we only have 500,000 gallons of stored water over there. Because we as the water department, you as the board, we have two things we really have to worry about. We have to worry about providing safe potable drinking water for all the residents and everybody that comes into town, which is a big issue. We also have to worry about fire protection, because we are responsible for fire protection. We're 40% of the ISO ratings through the ISO Insurance Institute. We're 40% of the responsibilities there. We've got our biggest growth, I think, in town on the east side of town.
Yeah.
Look at how much residential we have growing there. All of our commercial business, not all of it, but a big majority is there. And we are lacking in elevated fire protection. Not that the system can't handle it, I'm just saying, but for elevated fire protection, we are lacking. And that is where we really need to concentrate on where we put a tower. That's why that spot up there by Phoenix Center is an ideal spot for a water tower.
Right.
It's certainly elevated.
It certainly
And
is.
it is the right elevation. I mean, we wouldn't have a pedestal tower up there. We'd have a storage tank up there, kind of probably like Clay Street. It almost looked like Clay Street, but still, it would be 1 million gallons of water there.
Yeah.
So it is things we really do need to look at. I mean, our infrastructure, look at what we're doing. We need to replace a whole lot more water lines downtown because of aging infrastructure. We're trying to do Oak Street.
Little by little, they keep breaking, they'll all be replaced, right?
Yeah. Well, eventually, but eventually. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's all going to cost money. So we do have to evaluate what we've got.
Well-wise, we've got the water coming into the system, but it's this storage issue that we're really talking about.
What would a new well cost, another one?
Well,
Just
a new well or a tower.
Well, that you're talking about, another storage area.
Another storage.
Million,
Today's dollars are $1 a gallon.
so $1 million.
Rule of thumb, yeah, $1 million. That's just for the tank. That's not any engineering. That's not any. That is just for the tank. So you got.
water-
Another one.
You have
It'd
water
be about-
lines
it'd be
to
about
it, it's got to
1
feed to it.
What?
So you got to tie water lines into it,
Yeah.
obviously.
You're
too.
probably looking at about one and a half.
So, well, I'll say